2015 SEC Media Days came to an end with the announcement that Alabama and Auburn split in the who's going to win the league and who's going to win the division in the West. Kevin Scarbinsky, Natalie Williams. The two biggest takeaways, well, you know, since those two are obviously the two that people feel like are most likely to represent the league, maybe potentially in the national championship game this year, what was your biggest takeaway? Let's start with Alabama from this week at SEC Media Days.
Excuses, excuses, excuses. Everyone listened to Nick Saban talk about moving back the dates for getting information on your NFL draft grade if you're a draft eligible junior, which made perfect sense. When the draft goes into May, there's no reason why we shouldn't push some of those dates back. But the problem is people heard it as, this is why we lost to Ohio State. That's not what he said, but everybody jumped on that angle.
And he was actually, after that, and after some of those stories were written, there was a headline from USA Today, and there were multiple headlines really across the media, national, local, anywhere you looked. You kind of saw Nick Saban's making excuses. But he was on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday and said that I don't understand why media members would take it that way when I was just trying to explain how we could make things better in college sports and how we could make the system better so that people aren't, you know, these college athletes aren't going into a big game and are focused on something else. Do you think there's anything to that at all?
Well, for sometimes to understand the answer, you got to go back to the question. And the question wasn't, why did you lose to Ohio State? And the answer wasn't, because we had guys distracted going into the NFL draft. The question was, what about changing the NFL draft dates? And that's what he addressed. That's one of many, many factors that he has to look at as a coach. He's got to figure out what happened, what went wrong, and how do you keep it from happening again? And he has said on multiple occasions also, look, Ohio State played very, very well. Yeah. I don't know that he said this, but they were the better team on that night. And I don't see, that's why if you got to know Nick Saban a little bit and understand where he's coming from, and also listen to the question that he was asked, that he was actually answering.
Yeah. Auburn, biggest takeaway from Auburn, we saw Jeremy Johnson, who you believe is going to be a star in the SEC.
The all-SEC quarterback. Did I say that? I think I did. If not, I'm saying it now.
Okay. Better than Dak Prescott?
Better than Dak Prescott, better than Joshua Dobbs, better than insert Alabama's quarterback here.
Okay. And what was Gus Malzahn showed off a ton of confidence during his time at the podium. Jeremy Johnson, his first real time in the spotlight. Overall, from that program, what did you leave here maybe that you learned about that program or learned about that program and how they feel going into this season?
Well, you know, there's always that theory that Auburn is at its best when it's not expected to accomplish anything, and vice versa. When people pick Auburn to win championships, they fall on their face. And that's been the case on some occasions. But I didn't see Gus Malzahn shrinking from great expectations at all. Just the opposite. I saw him more confident, more cool, calm, and collected behind a microphone than I've ever seen him at Auburn, whether he was the offensive coordinator or the head coach. And talking to people close to him, it tells me he believes in his football team.
And this is the most important question that I've asked all week. Who won the shoe wars? Because it seemed like at some point, Dan Mullen started it. He got up there and said, I'm wearing some Yeezys today. These are the hottest shoes Adidas makes. And then you had Brett Bielema answer and say, well, I'm wearing some Nike Air Force Ones because our school represents Nikes. Then you had Les Miles in his opening statement say, I'm wearing some regular shoes. I mean, it just went on and on and on. Hugh Freeze said he was wearing some shoes from a place, like you said, where you could buy some food.
You can buy shoes and you can get a bologna and bacon sandwich. I'm not sure I want to buy either one from the place where they sell the other.
Yeah.
But look, it was impressive this week. You know, I mean, Dandy Dan with the Yeezys and beautiful Brett with the Air Force Ones. But you know who really won the shoe wars this week?
I think I know what you're going to say or who you're going to say, but
I did. We got the Earth Tone Pythons on today. Okay,
well, I've got Payless.
That'll work.
From SEC Media Days here in Hoover, for Kevin Scarbinsky, I'm Natalie Williams. We will see you when the season officially kicks off this fall.